So the Indiana Fever right here, they're going to be a pretty good team next year. I'm going to be honest, they're going to be a pretty good team. And I would be fairly confident that they're going to be some more changes. But I would say they got 11 players right now on their roster. They have a max contract spot, and they need 2 specific players. They need an actual big who can play a bit of defense if needed to. Then they've also need a backup point guard. And obviously, they got 1 spot to do it, so somebody's going to be out. And I don't think they're going to use the 19th and 20th pick on both. I think they're going to use it on one. I think one of these players makes it. So I personally believe the training camp roster is going to be between Jaylen Brown, the 19th pick, the 20th pick, and whoever they take in the 3rd round. They are all going to be at training camp and fighting for 1, maybe 2 spots. Depending on what they do with minimums, they're going to be fighting for 1, if not 2 spots. So, yeah, that is a thing. That is very, very true. But I will say this. There is one player in the draft that I think could fill that spot. And I do think in the draft they're going to try to use a big. I think they're going to take a big and a backup point guard in the draft. And then I think they're going to fight it out with Jaylen Brown on the wing to see what happens. And heck, if you guys could subscribe, it'd be greatly appreciated. We are 7 subscribers off our goal of 42.6K. But Rayah Marshall is a really good pickup based on the players that the Indiana Fever have. So her stats don't jump out in college. She's averaging 7.7 points, 9 rebounds a game, 2.6 assists, 47% from the field. But she's not an offensive player. Just even looking at her stats. She has had seasons. Last season, she averaged 10.2 points, 10.5 rebounds per game. But just look at these stats. Other than that, she averaged, in a season, 3.5 blocks per game. She had a 3.5 block per game season. She had a 2.2 block per game average this season. She can't really shoot the ball that well. She's mediocre passer. Heck, her assists are up 1. But what she is without question, a top 2 or 3 defensive center in all of college basketball. And that's what this team needs. The team needs a athletic defensive center with a bit of size to have on the bench. Obviously, because you have Dantas, you've got Aaliyah, and they're both undersized. I don't care that it says Aaliyah Boston 6'5", she's not 6'5". Aaliyah Boston, I've seen Aaliyah Boston stand beside Cardoso. Cardoso towers over her. Angel Reese is taller than Aaliyah Boston. Aaliyah Boston is about 6'3" at most. Like 6'3", might even be like an overshoot on what height Aaliyah Boston actually is. But like, you've now got that type of team. But I think Rayah Marshall's gonna be a huge one. Like, if you look at the box score plus minus leaders in the Big Ten, obviously Lauren Betts is top, Juju Watkins second. They are like the two lead. Like, you could argue Lauren Betts freaking player of the year between her and Hidalgo right now. But then Rayah Marshall is 7. So Rayah Marshall is in all of the Big Ten 7th in box score plus minus. Kiki Iriafen is not even there. Like, Kiki's not even there. She's not even in the vicinity. Like, she's not even there. Like, you've got, like, again, a player that's been more important. And in my opinion, Rayah Marshall has been more important for this team than Kiki Iriafen. I don't care that Kiki Iriafen is averaging more points. Right? This team does not function when Rayah Marshall is off the floor. Like, there are times, obviously, like, I just want to see all the career stats. I want to see, is there, like, just looking at anything in plus minus or anything. But, yeah, like, there was a season where she shot more threes, not much of a shooter. And obviously once Juju came and Kiki came, her points went down. But, like, she is easily one of the best defensive players in college. She's athletic, and she can come in and just play some minutes. And she's also going to be a second round pick. So it's not like she's going to be demanding big minutes. It's just, if you are getting cooked, if you are Aaliyah Boston and you are getting cooked, if Damaris Dantas just can't come in at center, because Damaris Dantas can't guard a parked car. Like, we can be honest, Damaris Dantas is a superb shooter. She's a good offensive player. She can't guard anybody. Like, that is why Temi was on their team last year. That is what Temi did. And you're not going to find another Temi, unfortunately. But, like, Rayah Marshall is just a super... Like, her whole thing is...
Wait, Miller, another shot.
Like, she is a absolute, like, defensive demon on the inside. She obviously is able to score a little bit on the inside. Like, not going to give you much. But having an 11th or 12th player that is a impact defender from day one, and that's all you can really ask for. The team doesn't have a shot blocker. The team doesn't even have a defender, really. Aaliyah Boston's okay. Nuwana Barnes is a good defender, but on the inside, they don't have that defensive anchor. And I don't think Rayah Marshall is going to come in and do that right away. But there is a chance. And at some stage she does. And with the 19th pick, there are players that you're like in today that could be there that are probably better than Rayah Marshall, but they just don't fit. You draft for fit in the second round. Like, because like you've got you've got the likes of Neepkins who can shoot, Maddie Westbeld who can shoot. Like, these are wings and stretch fours that don't really play much defense. You don't need that. The team doesn't need that. The team needs either a one or a big. Heck, maybe they can take her and they can take, if Ayoka Lee is still there, just two bigs. They can take those bigs and let them fight it out. Give one in the spot. Because I think more than likely we see the backup center or the backup point guard position being from a vet. Like, you can be a young athletic center just kind of running up and down, being athletic and do a really good job. But it's hard. It's a lot harder to be young and be a point guard and have control of the ball and not be turnover prone. So I do think they're going to take some sort of a veteran player at that backup point guard position. But I think that it's more than likely going to be a young backup center because, again, they can't afford a vet in both of them. And I would love in that draft, if Rayah Marshall is available, she could be an unbelievable fit with the players that the Fever have right now. And again, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But for me, I think this would be purely fit-wise. I think there are better players available. But for what the Fever need in this draft, it should be the number one priority is seeing if with 19 or 20, they can get Rayah Marshall. Because again, she's the defensive anchor of arguably the best defensive team in the nation. And she's big, she can block shots. Not super tall, but she can play at that 5 position. And like, look, at 19, with a championship team very rarely will play a second rounder. So there is a non-0% chance that Rayah Marshall not only makes the roster, but is in some form of a rotation. Maybe not the playoff rotation, but there's a non-zero chance she's in the regular season rotation. So anyway, yeah, that's the video. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.